of the age, as I call it. The fact that the fourth test at the MCG is about to start. It's going to be one hell of a match. We all know that. It's very interesting. We just saw Sam Constance get his baggy green cap. I think it was 468, they mentioned. A big honour. Opening the batting at the age of 19. The rest of the team are all over 30. There's no one in the 20s basically. He's it. He's the man, the young man of the team at 19. Great honour. Mark Taylor did the honours, giving the cap a former Australian captain, obviously an opening batter himself. The sight of seeing Sam Constance going up to Mark Taylor and not only getting the cap but getting a big hug, which I thought was rather special. He looks very at ease, very calm, very cool. Greek origin. All the Greeks of Sydney and Melbourne are all there. He's got three brothers they're showing now. Massive honour. Massive honour. Huge sight to see. We've got Virat Kohli talking to Ravi Shastri as we speak. It's going to be one of those days where it's going to be quite pivotal in the series. It's 1-1. There are two matches left. Really, the team wins this wins the series, regardless of what happens in the last test. Well, no, actually, that's not right, because if Australia win and India win the next, then it's a draw 2-2, and India retain the trophy. So it's more for Australia than India. India wins, they're it. That's it, no matter what Australia does in the last test match. India won the last two matches here at the MCG. Kohli scored centuries. Ajinkya Rahane captained well. India, quite frankly, are in the box seat mentally, maybe not physically, but mentally, you would think. The pitch is apparently rock hard. Should end up being quite a good batting pitch. There may be some early movement for the likes of Boland and Stark, or in India's case, Bumrah. But I don't think that Australia will have it all their own way this time. They're all over India like a rash in the third test match in Brisbane. They were clearly, how can I put it? They're all over India last test, but it's going to change this time. The toss will just be mentioned about 15 minutes. It's not very far. Well, I'll get a report on that. I'll have not only will it be live, but I'll get the team sheets as well sent through. It's going to be my subscription price increase. Always bloody increases on something. So, how's the weather there? Weather's going to be 41 degrees Celsius, piping hot, boiling hot. It'll end up that Australia would like to bat first, and so would India. The reason being that getting runs on the board early and getting a big 400 lead will be essential. Whether both teams get anywhere near 400 is another question, but the pitch is rock hard. The weather will be boiling hot. It should favour the batters, actually. In the side makeups, the team makeups, we're hearing a lot about, obviously, Sam Constance just got his bag of greens, so he'll be opening with Khawaja, Labuschagne, and then obviously Smith. Head appears to be 90% fit. Mitch Marshall also appears to be 90+% fit. Then you've got Carey, Stark. Obviously, Boland comes in for Hazelwood. And then you'll have Cummins there and Lyon. The team won't change a lot, Australian side, other than the fact that Constance is in and McSweeney's out. Feels sorry for Josh English. To me, he deserved to go. He would have been in if Travis Head was out. And Mitch Marsh was out. Bo Webster would have got to go. But yeah, when there's toss and bat first, yes, I think so. Toss could decide the test. I think you're not wrong. It could well decide the test. I think, though, that the batting first is the key. And if my old fellows here from the 48 Invincibles will line up behind me, they would certainly bat first, I reckon. Australia are strange like that. Cummins as the bowling captain, or the captain, does prefer to bowl first for some reason. It depends on the Indian and Australian makeup. Well, Australia will have Nathan Lyon as a spinner, for sure. India may go with two. They can't select Ashwin. Ashwin has now officially retired from all three formats. Sad, actually, because Ashwin would be key in this test, absolutely key. So clearly Jadeja's in, and I would imagine as well Washington Sundar will be considered. Reddy might be the poor man out because he doesn't deserve to be. He's at 40s in every innings he's played so far, and he's taken wickets too and fielded really well. So I wouldn't have dropped him, but they may have to. A lot of word about, I can see both Adam Gilchrist, Michael Vaughan, Mark Warren, Kerry O'Keefe talking. The reality is that Rohit Sharma's position is fairly important. He was assumed 4 paces for India. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think you're going to have either, or definitely Jadeja, as it'll be in the side, and whether they bring Sundar is the question. And that would be at the expense of Reddy, I would say. But batting wise, it looks like Rahul is going to drop down the order. Reluctantly so, because I think he's been the best batter and should stay there. But I think to get the best use of Rohit Sharma there as a batter and a captain, he'll be opening. He'll be opening with Jaswal, and you'll have then 3. Will you have Rahul at 3 and push Gill down the order, or leave Gill at 3 and put Rahul down the order? I think they won't change too much. They'll make the one change where Sharma will open and Rahul will be down the order, and he may well be 5 or 6. And that's not a bad selection because Rahul's also very steady anywhere in the batting order, so I think his use would be worthwhile later, especially if they lose early wickets. But you'll have to stick with putting Sharma at opener with Jaswal, Gill at 3, Kohli at 4, either Punt or Sharma, not Punt or Rahul at 5 and 6. And then the question is whether you put Jadeja in, which they will have, and then Washington Sundar, and the bowlers of Bumrah, Siraj, Akashdeep should stay, in my opinion. And that's the question mark as to where they put that other player, whether Reddy goes in and Sundar comes, whether Reddy or Sundar goes into the lineup. So that's let me check the live now. The live now, well, at the moment it's 11 minutes to 10. Match is supposed to start at 10:30, and it's a hot day out there. That's not a good sign for the bowlers. Let's be honest. It's a horrible conditions for bowlers nicely covered by stands, but that won't save them from the heat. I don't think it's going to be quite messy there. I'd say, and it'll be it'll be a bit daunting. So what's my subscription prices going from? Oh, okay. That's just terrible. But why does Microsoft need to increase their prices, for God's sake? Okay, let me let's get a bit of a giz here. Johnny Biggs offering the clothing. Win the toss and win the match, probably. I'd say so. The Australian weather is boiling hot, 41 degrees today in Melbourne. It'll be also very dry. It won't be that humid, I don't think. And on top of that, the ground will dry out very quickly. So batting first and getting through the early overs and getting on top could be crucial. One of my posts got 54,000. Did you see that, guys? Not a bad little effort there. Let's have a look. I'm going to just try and pull up some information to see what we've got going on here. Yeah, so I've got a live going on. So the lives are always encouraging, aren't they, when you've got lives? Anyway, all right, let's have a look here. So, quick info, which is, the source of most people's information, I think. It's one of those things that, you've got a lot of people talking at the moment. I don't know whether it's necessarily a good thing. Okay, let's get to the let's get to quick info. Quick info, it normally tells us about who's going to bat first and bowl first, but ultimately, Jardul and Washi, well, I think they're both in. Got a message held for review. Why this one held for review? Let's have a look. Can't read it. I can't read it. All right, so yeah, they're looking at the bowling techniques of Cummins at the moment, and clearly Australia are obviously very happy to have Boland as a backup for Hazelwood. Um, I ultimately think that the bowlers will be very important, but I think the batters are probably going to be more important. And I think Jaswal has to have the day go his way, and he'll be a danger. Having Rohit Sharma at the opening position will be a little bit freer for him, and he's still got the steadiness of Rahul to come in later. But probably the important two are Gill and Kohli. Those two guys really need to be on top of their game. Um, they're very important to this batting lineup. I think they need to show their best today. You've got Punt, of course, there as well. Reddy, I really like Reddy. Reddy's been the only one that's been consistent throughout the series. In all matches, 40 plus scores. It's quite impressive, actually. Boomer looks pretty fit to me. Siraj looks very fit. I will put bet money who will predict, or who you will predict on. Okay, put money. Who will I predict? Well, it's India's game to lose because they got mental favouritism for this ground. They're a far more superior, low bouncing pitch team as opposed to a higher bouncing pitch team, which Australia probably more are the team that favour that. India's gotten used to both those conditions anyway. But I think, okay, Dave Warner, that's not the real Dave Warner, but he says Australia will be fourth for 255. In that, do you think that if Australia bat, they win? And Sam Constance would love to bat first and love to get 100, and that would be a superb start for his career. But if India bat first, the likes of Rohit with Jaswal can really make a stamp on this match. Be very significant indeed. So we're looking at the situation with the toss, and we'll find out very shortly about that. And I'll get the teams through as well. Pat Cummins was available for his discussions. Pat's interviews are fairly bland. He doesn't really tell you too much about what's really going on. He's getting a bit too cocky for my liking. I don't like that. Tougher venues are gone for India. Yes, correct. Gabba was a really bad venue for them in this series. Last series it was their saviour, being the last match. But in terms of the Gabba, they were very lucky. They got away with that match. They fought hard. They kept it away from the follow-on, and they ended up surviving. And that's a big plus for India, because had Australia gone 2-1 up, India would have had to win, especially this Test match. Now the pressure a little bit. It's not that absolute necessity to win, but if India win one of these last two matches, they won the series. Whereas Australia have to probably win both the matches to win the series effectively. Love Pat and Heads. Heads redeemed themselves quite a bit with me. Smith 100. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. Opposition 4:23 a.m. in India. It's 4:20. It's early. I'm sorry about that. I think whoever wins Melbourne wins the series. No doubt. No doubt. But it's fact. If India win, they've won the series, regardless of what happens in the last match. If Australia win the series, win the match, India have to win the last two, still retain the trophy. So India have got 2 bites at the cherry, whereas Australia's got 1. Australia have to win this to keep the series alive. India don't have to win this to keep the series alive. But that'll free India up to just do their best. I think the toss will be extremely important. Sam Constance looks like a kid because he is. He's 19. He's just dropped a catch there. Well, that's only is he going to be in the slips? I don't know whether Sam Constance is expected to be in the slips. He probably won't be there. Hope they don't put him at square leg, which they tend to put, or silly bit on, where they tend to put new players through. So I don't think they'll do that. England is overrated with baseball. Well, they're going to be out here next summer, so we'll see how overrated they are. Your take on Kohli's form? Well, he scored a century, 100 not out or whatever it was in the last time. He didn't play well the second. He's still highly regarded and highly engaged and a man to watch. So don't be taking that out of the equation. Kohli's in form enough to show me that he scored a century in this series. There are plenty of batsmen that haven't. McSweeney was one, he was dropped. Khawaja's struggled with it as well. Labuschagne hasn't scored one either. So there's a few batters around, both Smith and in India's case Kohli, that haven't scored centuries. Jaswal played very well in the first Test, if I remember correctly. Hasn't done much since, but he's still a danger. Rahul batted fantastically. as well right throughout the series. Reddy batted well. Punt's always dangerous. Gill's probably been Gill and probably Rohit Sharma have been the two most disappointing at this point. But Rohit will open up again, and he may have been better off doing that last match. But anyway, he's doing it this match. We'll see how he goes. The toss is only some 4 minutes away. Winning the toss, batting or bowling, I would say bat. What will be an ideal decision would be to bat first and bat well. Australia may think differently. Cummins seems to like bowling first, and I struggle with that. Now they've got Sam Constance, so they want to unleash him early too. Should Shami is injured, which is why Australia is a little ahead. What do you reckon? Well, yes and no. I mean, I don't think Akashdeep's bowled that badly. Rana bowled well in the earlier matches. Siraj has been constant, and of course, Bumrah's been outstanding. It would have helped to have Shami here, but it's not the end of the world either. And on these pitches, I still think India's got a bit more up their sleeve than we reckon. The fact that they've Ashwin's retired. Now, why Ashwin retired? Let's get back to that point. Why did Ashwin retire? Ashwin didn't retire in a game where he wasn't playing for any reason. If it would have been a very good reason. I'm pretty sure the Indian selectors have told Ashwin in a heart-to-heart that they don't look like they'll select him for the rest of the series. And they're going to prefer Jadeja in there and then ultimately Washington Sundar. And that wouldn't have sat well with Ashwin, be the leading wicket taker and deservedly so in the side. It wouldn't have sat well with Ashwin. He says, right, you're not going to select me for the rest of the series. I need to retire while I'm still in the squad because maybe go back to when he's not in the squad and he's effectively dropped fully. And that would be very insulting to him, and he wouldn't want that. And he said, right, I'll leave while I'm perceived on top, only one match out of the team, and I'll retire. But with them wanting me for the last two tests, which they probably do. They probably do want him, but they were not going to select him, which is very hard for me to understand. Jadeja certainly deserves to be there, but they could easily have had Ashwin with him. Washington Sundar's the man in waiting. Has he done enough to be better than Ashwin? No, I don't think so. But the selectors seem to be a little bit off him. And there might be some dynamics in that team that we just don't know about. It's very interesting. It's 4:30 a.m. and it's 7 degrees here. Well, it's not 7 degrees here and it's not 4:30. It's very close to 10 o'clock now. The toss will be out in a very short while. The test will be amazing. I'm hoping that the last test match is even more amazing. But it looks as though, because let's just put it this way, if Australia won the third test match, that'd be 2-1 up. India wins this back, it'd be 2-2. It would have set the scene for the Sydney test to be electric. At 2-2 with a deciding test coming up would have been perfect. Now, with that draw going realistically India's way, India are a bit freer now because they can afford to even lose this match and win the Sydney match and still retain the trophy. But if they win this, they win the series immediately on the fourth test level. Whereas had it been 2-2, it would have come down to the wire of the fifth test. And I would have preferred that finish. So it looks as though we're going to have a decision on the series. If Australia win this match, then it'll be a big one for India. A lot of pressure in the Sydney test because they have to win just to retain the trophy. So, yeah. What happened to Tim Paine? Why is he not playing? Well, first of all, he's not good enough, and he's retired. And he had some issues there which he couldn't handle, especially mentally. And being captain was probably too much for him. You think SK thinks Sydney will be a washout? Well, that's a bit harsh. I hope not. Let's put. I would hate it to be. So what do you think about Yasmin Jaswal? He's Yes, as well, Jaiswal. Here's the toss, guys. We've got Ravi Shastri with Andy Pycroft, the match referee, and Sharma and Cummins now. Rohit's revving them all up at the moment. Jaswal's a great player, by the way. He's an outstanding player. Let's see now the toss. They're both gentlemen. Sharma and Cummins are in their nice jackets. Don't forget the first test was won by the captaincy of Bumrah. And since then, Rohit lost a second, and the third, well, could have lost that as well. So it's not great. So Cummins is throwing the toss. Sharma's called. And it looks like Pat Cummins has won the toss. So Pat Cummins has won the toss. And without doubting anything, I'm pretty sure. Here we go. It's coming through now. Australia won the toss and have elected to bat. So we're going to see Constance from ball one. There you go. Big advantage for Australia. The Australian team is Khawaja, Constance, Labuschagne, Smith, Head, Marsh, Carey, Cummins, Stark, Lyon, and Boland, with Josh Inglis, the 12th man, Bo Webster, Abbott, and Jai Richardson not playing. So, the lineup that we expected. And the Indian lineup is, they're still showing Rahul at 2. Jaswal, Rahul, Rohit Sharma at 3. So that's an interesting batting position. Looks like Sharma's elevated himself to 3. Kohli, punts, Jadeja. It looks like Gill has been dropped. Shubman Gill has been dropped. Wow. So Jaswal, Rahul, Sharma at 3. Kohli 4. Punt, Jadeja. Reddy stays. Sunder's in as well. Bumrah, Siraj, Akash deep. So effectively, Gill is the one that's dropped, not Reddy. And they're going with Akash Deep, Siraj, Bumrah, and Sundar and Jadeja with Reddy as well. So they've got effectively 6 bowlers there. And Rohit Sharma is there, and the exclusion of Shubman Gill. There we have it. It's quite a bold. So Gill's been dropped. It's a bit sad for Gill, but Gill's been dropped. Gill's the scapegoat here. Oh boy, that's a bit of a bombshell. Gill wouldn't be happy about that. So effectively, yes, I'll just put on my community page now the fact that Australia won the toss and elected to bat. There we go. So Australia has won the toss. And elected to bat. And I'm ecstatic for Constance. Constance in. Gill dropped. Sundar in. Reddy stays. Rohit to bat at 3, it looks like. Or will he be batting at 2? We'll wait and see with that one. There you go. And there's Constance there taking photos. Amazing. So for those just joining us, Australia has won the toss and elected to bat. Constance is in, of course, in place of McSweeney. Gill has been dropped. Sundar is in. Reddy stays. Rohit to bat at 3 by the team sheet. Whether that stays is an interesting question. It could well be that he'll bat 2, but we'll see. There you have it. Play starts in 25 minutes. Rohit City will open. Okay. But he's on the listing as 3, but okay, we'll see about whether that stays there. So if Rohit does go to open, Rahul will go to 3 in place of Gill. And the inclusion of Washington Sundar gives India effectively 6 bowlers, if not more. 6 bowlers. They're going to have the likes of Bumrah, Siraj, and Akash Deep, and with Reddy as the 4th medium to quick. And then they've got 5 and 6 bowlers are both Jadeja and Washington Sundar, who can bat. Pretty good selection by India. A strengthened bowling lineup without any doubt. Batting wise, well, Washington Sundar provides extra batting, and Jadeja, obviously, we know he's been in good form. Rohit's back in opener with Rahul there. Gill has been the one that seemed to be failing. Gill still pretty good. He played a couple of loose shots, but yeah, he count himself a little bit unlucky, I think. But obviously, Virat, I think he's cooking something. Well, it'll be good to see Kohli retaliate and we get a century. Now, the reality is that they're batting second, India, on this pitch, and India's selection of two spinners would have preferred them to bat second. So they've lost the toss, India. When Australia won the toss and elected to bat, Australia have gained some favour from that, and it should see Australia bat and bat well. Constance will open with Khawaja. Let's hope those two do very well, not for the sake of Australia or India, but for the sake of young Constance. I think that's a wonderful um, opportunity for a young man at 19 years of age. And they will be tired batting second. If Australia get a lot of runs on the board, yes, they certainly will be. They certainly will be tired. It won't be fun to be out there, you know, batting second on a 41 plus degree pitch. It's not fun, I can assure you. I can talk firsthand. I used to play in countries like Sri Lanka where, that was mind-blowingly hot, but humid was probably the worst thing. But I don't know whether we could say that MCG will be as humid. I hope you'll cheer for India. I want India to play well. I love to see them win. Why? Because I think it's something of it's a good thing to see India do well. I like it, and I think Australia really aren't necessarily the best side. When they're at home, they should dominate, yes, but India themselves didn't dominate against New Zealand at home. So, and India have been very dominant in Australia, especially the MCG. The Gabba was one that was a worry. They got away with that. They've drawn. They can now come back, and they win this. They won the series. They've at the minimum, level the series and tie the series, and will retain the trophy yet again. Impressive. Now you say Aussie's favourite? No, not favourite, but they've gained some mental strength by batting first, winning the toss. Yes, it's going to be very difficult. Bumrah hasn't conceded a six in the last 4,000 plus balls. What are the odds of Constance smashing him for one first ball? I don't think so. But he'll bat well. Not a million years. Well, yeah, we'll wait and see. I mean, Constance is. So currently it's 31 degrees. And there's a humidity of 26%, which is quite low. And the wind speed is 26 kilometres per hour. Forecast is cloud, but it'll hit that 41 mark pretty quickly, I think. So we're starting the match in what is, I think, 21 minutes' time. What's your take on Australia's tour of Sri Lanka? Do you think Australia would be able to win at least one game? Well, you'd hope so. And depending on what spinners Australia takes to, because Nathan Lyon will have to be supported by at least one, if not two spinners on that tour. Thanks a lot for your newspaper articles. Well, no need for one today. There'll be certainly one tomorrow. I'll certainly bring them out to Suraj. I'll bring them out tomorrow, but today they're probably not in the need to do that. We're here now, the game's on, let's watch it. But I would say at some stage through the afternoon, into tomorrow morning, I'll have that. I'll be joined hopefully by a lovely lady who's the Bangladesh opening bowler, really a lady of great stature, Jayanara Alam. She'll be with me later today, and I might do a bit of a clip with her. And we'll also be there with Jayanara Alam. Will also be with another person, Monty, as well, who's part of that team. So yes, they're showing Bumrah bowling now. Bumrah is a real threat early on, especially on this pitch. Khawaja has to pick up his game because Khawaja, Labuschagne, Smith could easily go very, very, very quickly to Bumrah if he gets on top. Constance, well, given the benefit of the doubt, he hasn't been at this level before, but I think he's going to fire. It may not be the first thing, maybe the second innings. Maybe it's the second innings that he fires. We don't know that, do we? And thanks, okay, I really appreciate all your efforts, guys, too. We've had a great period here of posts. I've got quite a few. Yeah, we've got a lot of positives coming out of all of this, guys. I think that a lot to be said about the rivalry here and the gutsiness and toughness of India. Let's go back to the first test. India won and won handsomely. They really gave Australia something there, and they came back at the second innings with well over 400. Kohli scored a century. Jaswal scored 160. It was brilliant. Second test, Australia in Adelaide. I was there, of course. India just didn't get their act together on that match for some reason. Rowett's captaincy returned, wasn't as good as it should have been. Third test, again they were up against it, but they held in. They held in firm. They pushed back that follow on and then got Australia out for a very low score, and then the time ran out. And it was a draw. So India have somewhat of the ascendancy from that. This wicket, of course, with Kohli loving this pitch, Rohit Sharma, well, previously Akash, Achika Rahane did very well here. Fighting spirit's very clear, and he will be buoyant. The fact that Ashwin's not there was probably going to happen anyway. I would argue that the selector spoke to Ashwin and said for the last two test matches they're going to try Jadeja with Washington Sundar, which would have upset Ashwin. And in turn, they bolstered their batting. But I mean, Ashwin scored 6 centuries. Not like he's poor with batting. So India's side, someone confirmed for me that Rohit Sharma will in fact open with Jaswal. Rahul will go to 3. I rather like that, but Gill unfortunately is dropped. Of course, Kohli with 4, Punt and Jadeja Reddy are there as well with Sundar. Quite strong middle order there. And then you go into the bowlers of Bumrah, and of course, Siraj, Akashdeep. Pretty solid side India have got, actually. Aussie or India? Well, Aussie's batting first. It's given them an opportunity to get it. As I said, if they get 400, it's going to be hard for Australia to be beaten. But I still think India have got the fight in them to win. And if Australia do win, India can still salvage a drawn series next match and in turn retain the World Gavaskar Trophy, which could be very exciting. If they win this match, they won the series. They will retain the trophy at the very, very least. Rohit said he'll open during the toss, yep. So that's good. Shami would have produced some reverse swing. Yeah, Shami would have been lethal here, yes. Yes, it's interesting how Rohit Sharma's written down as 3 in the list, which means a direct replacement for Gill, but the batting order will change accordingly. Nothing changes. Well, no, okay, which is number 3 Rohit, or is it number 2 Rohit? That's what we're going to confirm. We won't find out until the second innings anyway, or the first innings of India, the second innings of the match. Okay. So, looking at the time, we've got some 15 minutes before we see Sam Constance open the batting for Australia. My God, that's exciting. That's really, really exciting. I'm very excited about that. A lot of good talk. Now, he's coached by a guy called Tajmit, who is a Bangladeshi young coach, up-and-coming coach. He was at Cranbrook, where he went to school as well. I met him the other day, had a good chat with him. He told me that Constance got a phone call from George Bailey, had a selection panel, to say that get some red ball practice in, which clearly was a hint that he's playing. And as we see, he is playing. Tajman with, of course, Shane Watson's been involved. Shane Watson's son went to school with Sam Constance, so it's a great comparison of players. It's quite special indeed. Yes, so I'm just going to see if there's any trending movements here. You've got, yeah, the live pre-match is always an interesting moment in time. 5 Punt, 6 Washington, 7 Reddy, 8 Judge, 8 Jadeja. I don't think it'll go that low. I actually think it'll be Punt, Jadeja, Sundar Reddy, or Reddy Sundar. How was my Christmas? Pretty quiet, to be honest. My son, he travelled. My mother passed away a couple of years ago, so I'm without her. Very sad to say. It was a rather subdued Christmas day, to be honest. But here we are, Boxing Day. It's all here. Where later in the afternoon I'll have Jayanara Alam coming to me. She's staying somewhere else, and we'll spend some time and do some of the videos. Be great. So yeah, it looks as though it was 70,000 views. I'm doing okay here. Yeah, preview day 1. What more can you say? For those of us that just joined us, India have lost the toss. Australia won the toss. So I think it was Rowan had tossed the coin, and it was Pat, I think, he called heads or tails, whatever it was, and won the toss, elected to bat. In came Constance to the team, as we all knew. Out went McSweeney. And the Australian team is pretty much unchanged other than that. India have changed two positions, brought Rowett into a different batting order position, but they've also brought in Washington Sundar, in place of Gill. Amazing. Washington Sundar did very well in the series here before, when he had Shardul Thakur supporting him. Reddy's his replacement this time. It'll be very interesting. No, baby, 2018 was even worse. Do you think this is one of the most fragile Australian batting lineups of all time? In certain aspects, I'd say so. I think Labuschagne and Smith have had better days. Khawaja had better days. Head and hopefully Constance will be the future. Pat Cummins tossed the coin and threw it a mile away. Rowett called heads and it was tails. What kind of doubt about it? Well, no, there's no doubt about it. Don't worry. Showing pictures of video reference of Viv Richards batting against Lily, putting out the fastball. Yeah, but you've got to remember the series before that India came back strong. India will fight and fight hard. That's their biggest forte. They're batting first. Sorry, India's batting second. If they get Australia out for a reasonably good total, lowish total, and it'll be to their advantage. But if Australia get away and get 400, it's going to make it very difficult for India to win. And it could well be that India loses Test match. But all they've got to do is win the last, and they're fine. They've got 2 bites. I've said before, India have got 2 bites of the cherry in this series now, because the Brisbane Test was actually a washout, or not washout, it was a draw. It allowed India to have 2 bites of the cherry, whereas Australia's only got the 1. Australia don't win this match, they've lost the series, because India will retain. India lose the match, they've still got 1 more match to retrieve or to retain the trophy. Does that mean a profile picture? No, that's in a profile picture? Yes. On my YouTube channel, yes. Yes, but now even backup is not even that strong. Yeah. Bumrah has to go get 2 outs in the first 10 overs to have some momentum. I would agree. No doubt I would agree with that. It's a good statement. 10 minutes before the match, we've got 10 minutes before the match. It's a pretty good. So don't forget to view, like, and share and subscribe, guys. I really love you to share. You've been great so far. Predict first innings total. Okay, that's 300 all out. Someone's saying, if Sam Constance gets going with Khawaja, they get a big opening partnership. Australia could score well over 300, probably close to 400. But if Bumrah gets through early, gets 2 or 3 wickets, Australia could be looking at a total of around 220, let's say. That's my prediction. So score prediction. So I'm going to say, because of Sam Constance's presence, I'm going to say 300 is Australia's total. India will come back and score a similar total. It'll be neck and neck all the way through, and it'll come down to the efforts of both the batters and bowlers in the team to play well. So Young's Test depends on Ian Craig, Pat Cummins, Grimmett, I think it was, and then Constance. He's the 4th youngest. That's huge. Not many teenagers get Guernseys for Australia, I'll tell you right now. Australia tend to push them back into their 20s before they give them a chance. We're going to get cooked in the heat with Travis in the middle. If Travis Head gets going, yes. So Sam Constance, amazing. He looks ready. Greek origin. Been trying his hardest from day one. Apparently he's got centuries at every level of his ages. All the age levels he's got centuries. And on top of that, he's got centuries against India and the Prime Minister's 11 team. He also had back-to-back centuries in a state match. Another century recently for 50 odd of the BBL. He's scoring left, right, and centre, and it's perfect time to blood him. It may have been even better to blood him early on in the series, but could well be deemed to be perfect timing to blood him, and let's hope it's the case. What's his haircut called? A bit of a buzz cut, bit of a mullet, which is an 80s carryover. Crowd's not quite there yet. There's still a fair few gaps in that crowd. That'll build throughout the day, but it's not completely full. It's around I think probably 78 to 80,000 mark is what I would predict. You got Adam Gilchrist there with, I think, Pathan holding the Border Gravas trophy. They're taking it out. Gilchrist is taking most of the weight. Is it Zahir Khan? No, it's Pathan, I think. Adam Gilchrist and Pathan take a quick handshake, and they're standing next to the trophy, the Border Gavaskar BGT, as they're calling it these days, the Border Gavaskar Trophy. They're about to come on the field for the national anthems, and that's usually a pretty nervous moment for any new player. Some 7 minutes before kickoff. Gilly and who was it? Pathan? Irfan Pathan. It looked like. I don't think it was Zahir Khan. It looked like Irfan Pathan to me. Rahul will bat 3. That'll suit him. Rowett will have to bat well. Yeah, Pathan. I thought it was Pathan. The Australian team are coming out. Sam Constance there is at the age of 19. Wow. I'm trying to imagine myself batting for Australia at 19. Quite incredible. All right, guys, I might leave you there with the prediction that Australia will score with over 300. India will fight back in their first innings, and we'll see a test match will come down to the wire. And if India wins, they win the series by the sheer fact that they'll have retained it. And if Australia win, it'll be all up to India in the 5th test at the SCG. Constance looks he looks intense and also a little bit nervous. Watch prediction on SA versus Pakistan. I hope Pakistan smacks South Africa. How are you, Dinesh Singh? I hope Pakistan smash South Africa. I hate South Africa. How am I? I'm pretty relaxed, pretty good. Watching the lady welcome to country, Auntie Joy Murphy, will go about her speech. Thank you for the coverage of newspaper magazines. Won't bring out a newspaper magazine coverage today. Tomorrow morning, I certainly will. It'll be worth reading, absolutely. So we've had WACA, Adelaide Oval, which I certainly loved, Gabba, which was a very frustrating match. Here at Melbourne should be a good one, and then the ultimate one for me is the SCG. So Scotty Boland's excited, of course. He can't wait. He won't get a chance until later today, tomorrow. So batting first, Bumrah can really unleash and get 2 or 3 early wickets. He'll target, without a doubt, Khawaja, Labuschagne and Smith. And that'll be interesting to see what happens. 7 or 4. Which one is better? I mostly watch on Fox. I've got Fox too. I rather like Fox over 7. I'm not a big fan of what's his name on 7. There's a few commentators which are a bit off, especially Warner. And Fox, I'm not a big fan of the guy that's the lead commentator. I can't remember his name is now. Yeah, he's not my favourite, but the players. Not a big fan of Mark Waugh's commentary, but I'm a fan of Adam Gilchrist. Certainly Ravi Shastri. Fox generally wins me over. Better visual coverage, actually, too. Quick HD plus US VPN and Fox. Okay. The Indian as long as it's been sung. Sunda, he's played well here before. Good selection, although Ashwin's the one that's the scapegoat. Ashwin was definitely told by selectors, we're not going to pick you for the fourth and fifth test. And he spat a dummy somewhat. So, well, I'm not going to retire as a dropped player. I'm still in the squad. I'm going to retire while I'm with the squad. That's what he's done. Pity, because he probably could take many more wickets, actually. He deserved to go past Kumble's record. So Rohit Sharma's there, Bumrah's there. So national anthems are now done, I think. Rahul's very important to their batting line. There's no doubt about that. Rahul's definitely very important. We're looking at the wider shot, and now it's Australian songs. For we are. Australia's anthem going on now. I should normally think of Cummins, Head, Lyon, Boland, Khawaja, Labuschagne, who I can't stand. Mitch Marsh, injury cloud, he's over it apparently. Alex Carey, sound but not overly exciting. Sam Constance, wow, he must be feeling great. Steve Smith next to him, hopefully keeping him in track. He's quite tall. 19, for God's sake. Pat Cummins is there as well. 19. Trying to picture it. And when I was 19, I started working for the federal government. I was in my university degree. I was very raw. With my first blue pants, blue shirt, white collar. Fancy Australia selecting a person. I'm pretty sure for the first over a wicket. I hope not. To be honest, I hope not. So Sam Constance going and getting his bat and gloves and helmet and come back out. He's got a bit of a pat on the back there from, I think, Steve Smith. He looks very intense, looks very focused, as he should be. All right, the game's going to start in literally about a minute's time. So I will say farewell to you guys. We thank you for the preview coverage. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, Australia have won the toss and elected the bat. Gill out, Sunda in with a shuffle of the order, and Rohit going to three, and Rohit going to two, and Rahul going to three. There's Constance putting his helmet on, and Sam Constance coming from McSweeney is the only change to the Australian team, and you would argue a positive one. You would argue definitely a positive one. And there we have it, live. Sam Constance is the fourth youngest Test debut of Australia. Fourth youngest. All right, coverage is over, guys. Talk to you soon. See you over the next couple of days. I'll put out my newspaper discussion during the morning tomorrow. So if you like and share the post, subscribe and share to your friends. Okay, all the best, guys. Glad we had a good time. Good luck to both teams. Bye.